Peace. You know what it is. It's a moon day on the Real HD show, the higher discussion. I'm here, you're there. It's your voice, your victory. Hydrocarbon, electricity. I am your host, Vic. This is the higher discussion. This show, you're going to find out these are any other airwaves. You won't find a duplicate. Going over the good, the bad, the ugly of our people and healing it with freedom music. Freedom music happens from 7:30 to 8 p.m. on these or any other or ease or any other channels that are associated with the Real HD show. Right now we're rocking the 4 or 5 Facebook channels, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. Everywhere you want to be, we are the Real HD. Peace. It's your boy the Vic, it's your man. We here trying to get it done on a moon day to bring you that awareness so you could be fearless. You know? So let's get started with this, man. We here for you tonight. You know what I mean? We're gonna do part 2 of our Melanated Wonder series. We're gonna be doing that. You know, our history is always live, 365 here on the Real HD show. I don't need Trump to tell me whether or not I could celebrate me and mine. You shouldn't either. Don't be a repeater. Yeah, man. So we here, we rocking out, we with you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on comments and turn on all your notifications so that every time that we have a Real HD show, you can rock with us and we can all have a higher discussion. Total package energy, powders, teas, gels, zips, everything you need for speed, all natural company, melanated product, Olympic tested, people approved. Go to totalpackageenergy.com, buy some, mob their store, tell them the Real HD show sent you. Also, make sure that you give, and you, if you're ever in the Rochester area, check out Be Healthy Fresh Food Markets. They got about 4 stores all over Rochester. I know 2. The flagship store is on Thurston. They have a really great store on by Liberty Pole in the city, which is right by major transportation. You go there, you eat healthy salads, soups, wraps, teas, shakes, fresh fruit, groceries. Check them out. Imhotep, Negus, Be Healthy Fresh Food Market. Also, make sure you are supporting Black House. That's right, Black House, Monroe Ave. That's the family right there. Check out Jazzy's artistic wares. Buy till you can't no more from Black House. All right. Also, make sure that you, if you have an opportunity to watch the live, even if you don't ask for it, because my baby girl is in her very first major show. That's right. Live on stage, off Broadway play in Bama, playing in The Odd Couple. She is Rochester's own. Support Dejanea James. If you could find a link, watch it, buy it, most especially, but support. Go on her Instagram page, give her lots of loves, lots of heart, lots of follows. She, you will see her again at a theater near you. Also, let me take a swig real quick. Make sure, brand new show to hit the Real HD Show Network, amongst more shows, but it started last Saturday. The Overcoming Book Club series, hosted by Shaquana Divers. That's the heart right there. It'll be a 10-week discussion on a workbook put together by Michelle Obama for wellness and healing through literature. Y'all get involved with that. That's heavy. Shadow work, root work. Get that in your life. The Overcoming Book Club series. Yeah, man. So you know we here tonight for this, right? So unless you was under a rock or you just don't care about TV, turn the TV off, like Kendrick said. You saw the Super Bowl last night and you saw the halftime show. And it was one to remember, man. And there's a lot of Once again, man, I think the NFL is on to something. I think these controversial halftime shows are going to make up for poor games, low ratings, and all of it. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, man. Uncle Ruckus 2025 or a lineage claim is interesting as hell. Let's get into it in a bit. But right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into our first um piece of the show. Always giving honor and praise to our ancestors because we're standing on the shoulders of greatness. You know what I'm saying? Elders and Ancestors Blueprint on the Real HD Show. And we're going right to the Belt Magazine. And we're going to talk about something very interesting that I'm not sure a lot of people heard about this, man. The Ku Klux Klan were attacked by armed men in Steubenville. Now, notice they said mob, right? But I'm saying men, right? And it said, so we're going to get into that a little bit. And we're going to see what that is all about. I'm going to share my screen. I'll read off the article to you while you guys are getting in here. You know what I'm saying? Let me put the call letters below so that you guys know how to get involved with the show. Down below, here we go. SRRZEFINJS. Get in here. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a higher discussion on this moon day so we can set that work week straight. So we know what we're working for, man. You know what I mean? We know what work we got cut out for us. You know what I'm saying? But we still in the middle of it. Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. Let me run the music. That's right. You can't stop the reign of the ancestors, those great melanin wonders that did awesome things in the past, that set the blueprint for who we are, the design for what we about to be. You know what I mean? With a little twist, with a little spice coming from us. That's how we do it on the Real HD Show. So I'm going to share my screen one more again. I'm going to get right to it because I know that's what you want. You don't want to waste no time. Folks these days can't hardly watch something over 2 minutes. But we're going to get some interesting stuff here, man, because we're talking about our people, our stuff. So according to Belt Magazine, the Ku Klux Klan Knights were attacked by armed men in Steubenville, Ohio. That's right. Fighting the Klan in Ohio in 1924. That's right. At 6:30 a.m., a crowd assembled, about 1,700 gathered for a mass at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the Catholic church established by Italian immigrants 18 years earlier. By 10:30 a.m., the Knights of the Flaming Circle gathered in a park in North Main and Federal Streets in Niles, across from General Electric, right? They were armed to the teeth and setting up blocks to keep the parade from happening. We'll meet the Klansmen as they arrive. One night at the Flaming Circle told the reporter of the Youngstown Vindicator. All right, so it says, and the Ku Klux Klan was planning a parade in Niles at reputed Sundown Town in the Mahoning Valley of Northeast Ohio, which had become a thriving industrial location in the 20th century. It says the dormant Klan found new life in the 20th century, not just in the South, but in the industrial North, where the influx of immigrants, largely Catholic, here we go, was perceived as a threat to the American way of life. Okay, so they recruited them, right? That goes back to the Order of the Emerald, right? That we talked about in New York, that was in the Hudson Valley area. Same thing. The Klan marched in Niles would be a show of strength and triumph. The Klan had elected officials, a host of communities in Northeast Ohio and Indiana, where they had become ingrained, visiting schools, presenting Bibles, American flags, social gatherings, and the local amusement park or its own property, Canfield, just outside of Youngstown, uh, a country club, basically a Klan country club, right? It said a permit was granted to the city of Niles for the Klan parade starting at 2 p.m. Mayor Harvey Kissler's home was bombed October 29th, and it was an attempt to broker an uneasy truce to allow the march to happen. But the anti-Klan gangs, there we go, patrolled the streets, and fights seemed to start as soon as the clock struck midnight, November 1st, the scheduled day of the parade, and then an explosion was heard in the distance. The Klan, what did it say? The Klan roots date back to the following the Civil War. It was established in 1866, Tennessee. Uh, reputatively, social organized by Confederate veterans. Um, Spread throughout the North, Klan quickly mutated into terrorist organizations, allowing intimidation and violence to keep black folk from voting and otherwise integrating in society. Okay. So it says in 1950, D.W. Griffith glorified the early Klan and the nascent medium directed film Birth of a Nation. Cinematically, it was groundbreaking, using for the first time the elements that are commonplace today, including split screens close up. Thematically, it glorified the Ku Klux Klan while playing the fearful stereotype of blacks on whites, right? The fear of what black people would do to white people, right? So it said the movie's arrival and inspired Howard William Joseph Simmons to gather a group and climb Stone Mountain, lighting a cross on fire at the summit. The population grew. I'm skip ahead. It says many of them were Catholics, spoke little English in the 1920s. A lot of them viewed prohibition as inconvenience, but not the law of the land. Cities like Youngstown and Niles have become home to havens for voices like gambling, prostitution, and bootlegging. Okay, so what they're saying here is that in order to fit in, the Catholics who really weren't out racist, right, organizationally, became racist to fit in with the American paradigm. So the Klan saw itself as a defender of the law and order of the American way. The Klansmen's greed included the belief that limited immigration, the native born Americans have more rights than immigrants, freedom of speech, and protected the protection of pure womanhood. Who's going through that right now? Very interesting, right? Trying to get to the part about what happened with the Flaming Circle. It says like any it says let me see. Clam bought 267 acres of Canfield Fairgrounds for 40,000, which was nicknamed the Country Club KKK, highlighted in the Klan newsletter. Um, but it also brought opposition in 1923, an organization in Kane, PA, calling itself the Knights of the Flaming Circle. It also welcomed all it welcomed all the people the Klan would not. Okay, so you got two opposite organizations. You got the Knights of the Flaming Circle versus the KKK. So this organization had black people in it, right? Jews, whites, sort of like what Fred Hampton was doing in Chicago, right? So by the early 1924, it was estimated that there were over 7,000 members of the Klan in Mahoning Valley, Ohio, and it had developed as a political force. The citizens of that 15 out of 20 were Klan candidates and had prevailed in August primary Mahoning County, right? The Klan was determined to show its numbers before that year's election and set a parade through Niles. Predictably, it was met with resistance. On October 30th, a meeting was called in the hall, McKinley Hall. The goal was to find a peaceful resolution. Former State Senator McDermott urged Mayor Kinsler to revoke the parade, but Kinsler cited the Klan's First Amendment rights. Trumbull County Sheriff asked for the state intervention. Cameras, crews filled city hotels. Non-police force was exhausted. The impending rally had effectively Canceled Halloween in Youngstown, with the streets bare of trick or treaters. On the streets, however, anti Klan gangs stopping people and searching them for weapons. So that means they couldn't really tell based on the population because, of course, what did they say? Every 15 out of 20 people were Klan, right? So if they were trying to just keep a peaceful community, even though they were mixed and even though they had, a lot of black people in numbers, they had to actually search each person um, in the street to find out if they had weapons on them or they were going to do something, insidious or what have you. Um, so it says, then came an afternoon of brawling and gunfire. So the opposite nights were stopping cars, extracting Klan members, taking their robes off of them, and sometimes beating them. Shots were fired on both sides. Quote, into the valley of death rode the intrepid Klansman Saturday afternoon. It says a train pulled into Niles Erie Railroad Station. 1,000 Klansmen came out. It says that 4 days before martial law was lifted, ultimately the Trumbull County grand jury returned no major related charges to the riot. Knights were believed to have acted in self-defense due to a shoot to kill order given by the Klan members. There you go. So we are rocking on the Real HD show. Clans. That would be our, you know what I mean, live melanin for the BHM, because we live 365 with our history here on the Real HD show. Let us know what you think about that for our elders and ancestors blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't know that there was a unit in Ohio called the Flaming Circle, Knights of the Flaming Circle. And they were anti Ku Klux Klan. And they went there with that old goon spirit, right? With that Chango, right? They went there, kick ass, and took names in the name of freedom, justice, and equality. And that was partly one of our live melanin for the BHM, because our history is live 365. That's right. You heard it right here on the Real HD show. Another interesting order to check out is the Knights of Tabor. That's another really interesting, I guess you could say, Freemasonry group, clandestine group that was headed by our folks. And what was interesting about them was they were actually deep cover. So they disguised themselves as Freemasons when they were really just folks who wanted abolition. And then they planned a really, really deadly riot on the eve of the Emancipation Proclamation. That happened to go down, and therefore the Knights of Tabor didn't have to do what they were doing, but they were already prepared to get it in. All right, man. So that was our elders and ancestors blueprint right here on the Real HD show. Go check them out. Go look at Belt Magazine. That's right, Belt Magazine. And you can find that article. You can read it for yourself. How the Klan got their ass whooped. And that's one of the melanated wonders of our world. Nobody really knows that. That's like a hidden gem. Shh, don't tell nobody. We don't want y'all making movies about that, Spike Lee. We don't want y'all making movies about that, Bill Duke and others, right? Ryan Coogler, right? We don't want none of y'all touching that subject matter and presenting our folks as heroes to this country, because we were. All right, man, we moving on. We are moving on. So we about to get into right now our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser for a brand new you, because we need cell power. Here we go. Yeah, man. This is an AAT report, Aero Aqua Terra, as created and titled by my homie. You always welcome on the show. My good brother Sin, you can come through anytime, bro. The link is right there. Let's chop it up. Let's give him that real awesome, that awesome 1-2 we gave him when we was back at the radio station. Shout out to 100.9 FM, where we are still blasting off, but we're just not at the station. All right, man. So we're here. We're in the middle of a healthy, wealthier, and wiser segment on the Real HD Show, and we're gonna play a video for you about. And this might be something you might have heard of already, but we're giving you that awareness so you can move fearless. And there's a lot of poor education in this country, so we got to repeat things. You know what I mean? So this is an idiom about Subway sandwiches, right? And I ain't gonna hold you, man. I like the Subway sandwiches, man. I used to get my little tuna. I used to get my little veggie patty. I used to get my little veggie sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Until I found this out. Check it out. Real HD Show, AAT report.
It's yoga mat material, and it's legal, and once again illegal in Europe. RFK specifically talked about azodicarbonamide.
What would they put that in, like
Subway bread? Like Google Subway.
Yes, Subway bread previously contained azodicarbonide, a chemical that is also used in plastics and shoes. When did they stop? 2014 it looks like.
Yeah, when the food babe, she actually brought this to everybody's attention because it was in Wendy's, It was in McDonald's, and I think most of the companies didn't remove it, but she specifically was picking on Subway. She had a massive campaign. She got it out of Subway, but a lot of other companies and a lot of breads in the supermarkets and stuff, they still have the yoga mat material in them.
Wow. That is absolutely crazy. So when I Googled this, right, because I always got to vet my information, and at least, even though Google is a third source, sometimes it gives you direct lines to, vetted information, right? So yoga mat elements in Subway bread. So it says azodicarbamide is approved by the FDA for use as a bleaching agent and dough conditioner. It can be found in a wide varying range of products at McDonald's, Starbucks, and breads sold in supermarkets. Now, what I found is, let me pull it up. It's in a lot of stuff, and this is very really good information because um, when you are out with your kids and they're hungry and they want something and you think I must just stop real quick and get them, whatever's on the menu at the local fast food spot so they can have something in their belly. Let's say you guys got like a 2-hour drive or hour drive home, and you guys came from like a practice or some sort of event or whatever, right? And you're gonna just go ahead quick and get them something in their tummy, right? I want you to think again, because we don't want to have our kids sick and incapacitated just because we're giving them a quick meal. You know what I'm saying? And we want to make sure that we are giving them the best quality foods we can in the way that we can, and not have to feel guilty that we are contributing to any cancer causing stuff for our babies. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna I'm gonna show you a pic of most of the foods that has that azobicarbamide in it that they put in the breads as a bleaching agent. That's just really horrible and no good for you, right? So give me 1 second, family. Let me pull this up. Okay, 0052. Um, okay, here we go. Nope, not it. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right, here we go. Sorry, family. This will be worth your wait. Promise, promise, promise. Here we go. All right. So these are, I'm going to make this a ticker instead of having it across the screen like that in the way. And away we go. So shout out to Katie French, right? She's a dope Instagrammer. Go check her channel out. She does all types of food related excerpts and, you know, exposés, right? And supposedly these are all the stores that sell bread related products with the azo bicarbamide in it, which is a bleaching agent that's really not healthy for the body, may contribute to cancerous and diabetes outcomes. And these are some major things, man. You're talking about donuts for Dunkin' Donuts. You're talking about bread for Big Mac. You're talking about Taco Bell. You're talking about IHOP. Wow, these are majors, right? Subway, way down in the bonnets. Sonic, DQ, major, fast food chains that everybody kind of gets into. But then, riddle me this, Batman. Who's ever been and eating from one of those establishments, got home and felt really really sick, felt really really bad, felt really really outside of yourself by the way you were eating? And it may have been because that azobicarbamide, in the way that it's being used, um, contributes to bloating, contributes to poor digestion, contributes to all types of health maladies. But it all happened just because we wanted something with a little flavor in it. And we just couldn't have the discipline to wait till we get home and make it ourselves. So that is our AAT report for the night. Healthy, wealthier, and wiser for a brand new you. Y'all tap in. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this azo bicarbamide. Yeah, let us know what y'all think, man. That's gonna be hard for me, man. I like my Taco Bell, and I only really mess with two. I mess with Taco Bell a bit, and I mess with Subway, but I got the tuna or I got the veggie patty, and that was a little bit of. Now I don't eat that all the time, but every once in a while I used to have a foot long or whatever, convenient. Now that I know, knowing is half the battle, and that's gonna have to skedaddle. Yeah, man. So we're here. It's lit. It's a Kendrick Lamar review type of show. Yeah, man. We're here for it. Hope you're here for it. Let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? Um, we also want to do this on the show real quick. When speaking the truth, people's feelings should be the worst of your concerns. And lastly, we don't need your permission to celebrate ourselves. We really don't. We really don't. And we're gonna talk about why in a roundabout way with that Kendrick Lamar show kinda did. But first, let's get into a Lit City report. We got a couple of things we want to talk about, we want to highlight, and we want to discuss. Let's cue the music. Yeah, I don't want to give them too much because if I give them too much, they're gonna try to say my show is violating this and violating that. Even though we are protected by Soundtrack Your Brand, protecting out whatever music we play, whatever idioms we put across the screen, and we are protected by USC 107, 106, fair use, music, videos, and graphics used for educational purposes only. So y'all jump in here, man. Y'all jump in here. Y'all try. Let's have a higher discussion about it. If not, watch the replay and let's get it done that way. You know what I'm saying? So we're here. We are getting it in. Let me find out if my audio's good. Audio's popping. All right. Y'all must got a Super Bowl hangover. Y'all get in here. Y'all, let's make it happen. But the first thing we want to talk about on the Lit City Report is this right here. If you're old enough to remember this, then you got soul, you got that Ogun spirit, you got that get it out the mud energy, and we're gonna talk about this one right here. Doggy Doggy Diamond. Doggy Doggy Diamond. Step right out. My mama told me to pick this one. Not cause if you old enough to remember sticking your foot in a circle before you played tag or you played freeze or you played it hot peas and butter, any of those games, then you in fact were lit. You in fact were blessed. You in fact were on target to understand not only how to be a team player, not only understand how certain things are, how the greater good for our folks is what's necessary. Because in those types of games, right, you had to take turns. Who remembers those games? Put a one in the chat or give me a comment in the chat if you remember playing those games on the block with your friends, um, and how much fun it used to be, and how you could play games like that for hours outside of football, baseball, and basketball that you needed equipment for. If you didn't have equipment, you could play those games all day long and not miss a beat on the block. Let me know. Let me know if you old enough to remember being on the block, because there's a lot of folks, especially a lot of young people that are around right now, that don't remember what being on the block is not like. They remember what being on the porch is about, but they don't remember what being on the block is about. Give me some love in the comments. Give me some love in the chat. Give me some love on the replay. Timestamp this and let me know how you flow. All right, man. We're going to keep it going because we got a couple more joints on here. And I saw this before, and you probably saw it again, but we talking about Melanin Magic, right? And one of the great points about Melanin Magic is our entertainment. And the very first verses was between the Temptations and the Four Tops in a very unusual way. In a very unusual way. If I recall, it was a Motown review that was on NBC, hosted at the Apollo by Bill Cosby. And then, of course, if you know anything about the Four Tops and the Temptations, they had like this quiet rivalry, right, between them. And they used to always kind of kick it and challenge each other to find out who was the better group. You know what I'm saying? And interesting enough, they used that to their advantage, and they played it out on stage in a real playful way. But I'm sure if they was in the booth recording songs and really getting it in, it might have turned into some Kendrick and Drake type beef. I'm joking. I don't think it would have done that, but it was interesting enough. Uh, According to when these two groups were on stage with each other. So here you see in the tan suits, you got, I believe that's the Four Tops, and then to their left, you had the Temptations. Yeah, man. Legendary groups, legendary songs. I saw the Motown review as it went all over the country. Me and my wife saw the show here in Rochester. It was real dope. I didn't know if I would like it, but the minute I got in there and I saw how they, I didn't want them to mess it up, right? Because that's all of the songs I used to hear in the house growing up that I resonated with, right? And I was like, oh, I don't mess up Stevie. Don't mess up the Four Tops. Don't mess up Gladys Knight. Don't mess that up, because it wasn't the actual artist. Don't mess up Smokey Cruising. Don't do that. But it was dope. And that spurred on all kinds of stuff. But then they used to have these Motown reviews like every 5 or 10 years, or every time Motown would have like an anniversary, they would bring on some of the legendary groups and they'd have like a little review of their old stuff that was big time. a couple decades ago, and it was real dope. So if you could catch that on YouTube, you would do yourself a favor. It doesn't matter what your age range is, whether you are alpha, a Z, a millennial, a X, or whatever you are, right? If you are folk, go watch our folk, do that Motown review. Bill Cosby was funny as hell. I think Sinbad might have been involved with it, but all of the dope Motown acts were on there. Marvin Gaye, all of them, and they just turned up. It was lit. It was dope. It was like what's the name? Rolling Loud. It was like a Rolling Loud, but just a little classier, minus the weed, right? So go check that out. That was part of our Lit City Report, and we're gonna keep jumping all over the place. You know what I'm saying? In our Lit City Report, right? Because we want to talk about our melanated wonders of the world within the Lit City Report, right? And one of the things that I was trying to do last week, but the technology wasn't really working with me, we're going to do it tonight. You know what I'm saying? Carnival, a melanin party around the planet. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some of the images that we got here, you know what I'm saying, about Carnival, and we're gonna see what's going on because Carnival is one of the melanin wonders of the world. Why? Because it brings all types of peoples together, and it's a celebration of rebellion, a celebration of fight, struggle, glory, and independence for whatever country is celebrating Carnival. And it's very interesting how this is Black History Month, and it's also the start of Carnival all over the world. Trinidad is getting it in right now. All of the Caribbean countries are about to get it in or getting it in right now. And we want to give y'all just a taste of what our people do and why we are a melanin wonder of the world right here on the Real HD Show with Carnival, iStock. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope it doesn't frag much. As I do this, y'all, you're gonna behave yourself right now, and you're gonna do what I need you to do. All right. So it looks like we're good. So I'm going to enlarge this, right? So you can see the, I hope you can see it clearly. Yeah, you can see it clearly. The Real HD Show is best watched on a computer or in the landscape way that you shape your phone. So if you have a phone, you don't want to have your phone up like this, right? You want to have your phone wide like this. So that as I show you graphics and videos and all kind of interesting stuff about what we do, you can see it live and in color. Very vivid, okay? So, you know what I'm saying? So here we got, Carnival and how they dress up in Carnival, kind of all around the world. You know what I mean? So we're gonna hit one of these images here. And this is this was in Toronto, Carabana, right? 2013. You know what I'm saying? You look at all those melanated beauties in the background getting it in for Carnival, right? And it's really dope how that endures to now. How we used to wear costume to symbolize rebellion and symbolize independence and symbolize you know so many of our rebellious nature against colonizing oppression, and then we turned it into the largest, most magical party on earth. And if you don't believe me, go to Carabana and Carnival in August. Go to Carnival in Trinidad in February. Go to St. Kitts, St. Lucia, and enjoy Carnival, Jamaica, and you will find out just how much energy, vitality, and speciality is involved in Carnival. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's another super dope super bright costume. And what's interesting that when Carnival is celebrated, whether it's celebrated in where's this at? This is a picture of Port of Spain in Trinidad. That's my grandmother's neck of the woods. That's where her family is from, right? Her mom and her dad and her sisters came from Port of Spain, Trinidad. And out there, that's how they get down. You know what I'm saying? With the color and the vibrancy and all of that. So you'll see. Let me show you the brothers with the instruments. You know, we see so much of the ladies, you know, bearing it out. But this is Ponte Pitre, Guadalupe. All right, so we in DR, right? And look at those melanated brothers getting it in. You know what I mean? They look like the second line in New Orleans. That's really what they look like, right? The Codifiio. That's what they really kind of resemble. So we real dope. We talking about one of the melanated wonders of the world, and that is how melanated people celebrate Carnival. You know what I'm saying? This is, I believe this is in Puerto Rico. Let me see. Or it might be Cali. Oh no, this is San Martin. Okay. And a lot of these places you'll see a lot of the carnival elements. You'll see a lot of shades. Not BIPOC, but just a lot of shades, right? And a lot of elements of the people getting it in, you know, celebrating independence for their country. And some people who don't even know what it is just get involved with the energy and the spirit of it until they're able to figure it out. Now I believe this is probably oh yeah, this is Dominican. This is Dominican Republic celebrating Carnival. Okay. Let me get to the picture. There we go. Yep, there it is. Getting it in. Yeah, man. You know, melanin all over the place. Being wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Being wonderful. Let me see if they got some stuff. If we can get to the Eastern Parkway Parade, in America, you know. Oh, this is an elaborate costume. There you go. Wow. That's not very far from the native people that are in New Orleans in the way that they celebrate when they're out there and they look and they do what they're doing. When they put together those wonderful celebrations in New Orleans. This is Trinidad. Well, it's a brother representing Trinidad, but this was at Carabana, and I believe he's playing the trickster Alegba. Brothers and sisters go all out celebrating their culture. Fire, love it. That's why it's one of the melanated wonders of the world, man. And everybody knows when you go to get involved with Carnival, you're gonna have a good time because it's about celebrating that independence from colonizers. You know what I'm saying? This is brothers in the street, playing, you know, for visitors. This is again Martinique, Fort de Franc, Martinique. Uh, you know, it's an opportunity for the people who live there too to make a lot of money from the visiting tourists who should give it up. You know what I mean? Use their privilege for great things. They should give it up, and also a way for them to enjoy their own selves. You know what I mean? Now, is this a brother out of? Is this a Nola brother right here? Oh no, this is Port of Spain, Trini again. Okay, all right, All right. So the brother is out of Port of Spain, Trini. Let me move him down a bit. Fire. Damn, he look like one of the Dakota Fio and Nola. Come on, man. Come on. That's crazy. That's crazy how we all resemble each other so easy, so effortlessly. You know what I mean? That is fantastic. Um, you know, bucket list, gotta go back to Trini, gotta go back to Nola. Got people in both them cities, in both them regions. And, I need to do it up with my family in those regions. One more again. Here's some kids involved with it, right? So you see the young ladies, they get very excited to get out there. And, you know, the ethic really is they want to, and they're supposed to make their own costumes in the energy and in the vitality and in the spirit of Carnival, right? And also, let me put also in places like Jamaica and some places like Grenada, and they celebrate the Jab Jab, right? Which was another Jab Jab was a Caribbean celebration that originated during the end of slavery. It celebrated freedom, resilience, and a way to honor the ancestors of the enslaved that got to be free. What is Jab Jab? Jab Jab is a theatrical street performance that involves dressing up in really crazy costumes, a way to express defiance and dehumanizing the terrors of slavery. Not dehumanizing, but kind of giving a lift to what the dehumanizing of slavery looked like. A way to reclaim freedom, dignity after emancipating themselves. So I'm gonna share my screen and show you about how our melanated wonders celebrated our melanin by the Jab Jab, right? And they do it all over the place, right? The Jab Jab is celebrated all over the Caribbean. And I don't know if you guys know, but I'm letting you know right now. You jump in and tell us what you think of the Jab Jab. I did this show maybe about 2 years ago. So what they do is they dive in the ocean and they pull out a shell. And in the shell is this really deep, rich oil. And they would, you know, adorn themselves with the oil. And then they would go on their missions and their rebellions for freedom, justice, and equality. And then eventually, those became the tradition that you used in the parades. Um, and you see that this right here, the nowness scenes of the Jab Jab. You can see that on YouTube. I don't want to put that on right now. I'll lose my place. But I just wanted to show you some of it. Sometimes they do the Jab Jab when they are having a funeral, as you can see right here, right? So let's see if did it change? Nope, didn't change. Okay, so let me stop sharing that one and share this one so you guys can see it. There you go. Let me share that one. And away we go. So that's what the Jab Jab looks like. If you're ever in one of the Caribbean nations and they celebrating the Jab Jab, well, if you're not gonna rock with them, you might as well get out the way and don't be a spectator, because they mean business when they celebrating it. You know what I'm saying? Um, go back down to it. So this is Grenada that they celebrate in Jab Jab right here. Yeah, man. Real shit. Real shit. Um, dope. So that's one of the reasons that's one of our melanated wonders of the world. How we celebrate carnival and the various ways that we do it and how we get to it. Because we built like that. You know what I mean? That's the hydrocarbon. That's the science of the hydrocarbon. That's the science of right here. That's what we do. You know what I mean? Um, so we gonna get ready to get into this, man. So we got bop bop bop. All my life I had to fight. Yeah, man. Pimp a Butterfly. That's not what he did in the show, but that's his Grammy award-winning album, along with the new album he won a bunch of Grammys for, including probably the song of the year or the rap song of the year, Not Like Us. And he did something, K Dot did something really interesting during the Super Bowl that drew a lot of controversy. So much so that this chick on The View wants Donald Trump to ban black performers from performing during the Super Bowl. Isn't that crazy, man? These View chicks is out of control, man. Who's still looking at The View? If you still looking at The View, man, put it in the chat, man. If you ain't looking at The View, tell us why. Put it in the chat. Because The View is crazy, man. The View be all over the place. And they be saying some outlandish stuff. I don't know if it's clickbait. I don't know if it's trying to get ratings. But they be saying what they be saying, man. And it's kind of wild. But let's look at this article about what happened with K Dot, right? The View's Anna Navarro says Donald Trump will sign order banning black people from halftime after the Kendrick Lamar show. Navarro also claimed that our folks on her social media feeds were calling Lamar's show blackety blackety black. I love it. I love it. Right. The View co-host Anna Navarro thinks that Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show made enough of an impact on Donald Trump that it would inspire a swift executive order. Well, I think Donald Trump is going to have some issues with that because that $9 billion or more earning company called the NFL, they got a lot of ratings last night. And they're too big to fail. So Donald Trump is going to have to deal with the NFL with not having black performers. And I don't know if they're ready for that. I don't know if they're ready for what the outcome of that looks like, what the outcome of that might represent, and all of that. But let's get into K Dot, man, because there's a couple things that the Kendrick Lamar halftime show featured, right? And I wanted to tap into some of those things, right? He had a lot of themes within the frame of his show. And I liked it. I thought it was hard. And the reason why I thought it was hard is because I'm a former MC and I know how hard it is to be up there running off 8, 9 songs or however many songs he did in the span of a short time period. No, your band is the track that you're using. You don't have a band that's going to give you breaks and have solos and all of that. But the halftime show was cool. SZA came out and helped out. You saw when he did Sit Down, Be Humble. He had all the people around him with the red, white, and blue, and they were bopping their heads, and that was cool. You see here in one of the shots here, he has them looking like the American flag with him in the middle as a star. Him and SZA did 2 songs, which was really cool. The Black Panther piece, which was really, really interesting, which is one of my favorite K Dot songs. I thought the verse in that particular joint was incredible. This is K Dot on a car. He's doing the car work in the beginning of the Super Bowl, telling people, you let the wrong one in the door this time. You know what I mean? And they even got crashed by a protester in the middle of the show. Behind the scenes, not in front of the cameras, but the but what would be the backstage of it all, right? And one of the most controversial things that happened during Kendrick Lamar's show was the use of one Sam Jackson as Uncle Sam. That's right, Sam Jackson as Uncle Sam. That's that's kind of the headline for the show. You know what I mean? And we want to show you a little bit about that, right? Let's flip on the headline of the show. Boom. I'll stop my screen while y'all look at that. And I just want to load up a couple things in regard to the show. Was it a lineage claim or just Sam Jackson acting like Uncle Ruckus? Now, in order to know how this actually plays itself out, you'd have to pay attention to what Kendrick Lamar is all about. What is he all about? If you ever listened to him, if you ever heard any of his music, you know that he's a very conscious entertainer, and he's very about our people via the show, via the song, "Not Like Us." In that record, Kendrick is getting at Drake about, because in one of Drake's diss records, when they were having their battle, Drake made a reference about Kendrick Lamar being conscious. So in that follow-up song, Kendrick Lamar, went after him because he felt like he was being anti-black with making that remark. You know what I'm saying? And let us know what your take is on the K Dot saga with Drake. If you want, we could go over that very briefly. But I wanted to show y'all a couple of things that were very pivotal about the Kendrick Lamar, show last night. That was very interesting. That I thought kind of made the show and was very controversial, very avant-garde, and depending on how learned you were, how read you are, and how much you could read the room, you might have took it the wrong way. And that was his use of Sam Jackson as Uncle Sam. Now, what's interesting about this particular piece was because Sam Jackson played Steven, one of the, overseers in the movie Django, but he was the house overseer, right? And affectionately the butler, right? But he was a slave, and he did everything that Candy, who was the master of the plantation, told him to do. But he also had this kind of awareness and consciousness of himself and his positionality and within the power frame or the power structure of the plantation. So fast forward a couple, maybe 15 years, here comes Sam Jackson back again, playing a controversial American figure, Uncle Sam. And the reason why Uncle Sam is controversial is because Uncle Sam is in all of used to be in a lot of your military ads. Uncle Sam wants you. So it almost be like, you're betraying the patriotism of America if you didn't actively join the armed forces. So you'd see these Uncle Sam wants you posters all over the place, wreaking havoc on minds and brains and psychology and brainwashing folks into giving up their body and their liberty for the United States and whatever wars were fought in the 20th century after World War II, one of the bloodiest wars in human history. So I think it's almost fitting that K. Dot and Sam Jackson, who was another conscious brother as an actor, got together, and with their vision, they decided to personify Uncle Sam as being black. Really, really interesting, right? only because personifying Uncle Sam as being black almost is like a dog whistle for our claim to the land. Do we have a claim to the land as a melanated people? Was it 1809 when Thomas Jefferson ended the slave trade and European forces agreed on ending the international slave trade, but then began breeding slaves right here in America? So a lot of folks became naturalized right here on American soil. Not only that, but the admixture, the miscegenation, and the intermixture with the native indigenous populations of the area um, also proved to, you know, be very, I guess, what do you call that? It furthered our claim to the land. And there's a lot of folks that would love that would love to say that we're just indigenous people with a claim to this land that's now called America. Now, whether you believe in the Amaru Khan or your Moorish Temple of America or whatever your frame is, whatever your belief system is, there's a lot of folks out here that believe that we have a claim to the land. So I'm about to show you a video real quick. And let me know in the comments, man, everybody watching at home, if there's a problem with the link, because I sent the link out. But there's a native brother that wants to celebrate BHM, Black History Month, along with us right here as we talk about natives on the Real HD Show. Check it out. Wow. When you realize your ancestors survived genocide, starvation, sterilization, natural erasure, cultural erasure for you to be here today. Powerful, powerful. And if you go on this particular brother's page on Instagram, I believe his name is Soyato, right? If you go on his page, he talks a lot about, he gives homage to a lot of the John Horses of the world, the Bass Reeves of the world, those who, you know, those who, John Punch, those who were, in the native tribes who achieved great things. Very, very interesting, right? So we're back to talking about um, the K Dot Super Bowl halftime show. And he had some interesting things that popped off during the show that were covert, right? Because overtly, you might think, oh man, this show is a little bit one way or a little bit of the other, the same way that this Anna Navarro did, right? But if you were paying attention and you were really peeping the signs and the signals, you saw some of this. And I thought this person wrapped it up real nice. I mean, I can go deeper than this, but I'll just give you some surface stuff that you might have missed if you weren't paying attention to the K Dot Super Bowl halftime show. Um, and here were some of the interesting things, man. Of course, it's the ultimate game, Super Bowl, correct? Right? The ultimate American game, right? One of the biggest sporting events in the world. We probably have 22 million, if not more, people watching it at the same time. Um, and he had some elements in the show that were really interesting, like this set right here that looks like a controller from one of your modern video game systems, like a like a PlayStation or an Xbox, right? And then at the very end of the performance, he had game over, and you see that kind of lit up in the stands. So he had a lot of elements, right? And of course, the game over was symbolizing how he changed the game and rearranged the game when he put out the diss record with Drake, because Drake is a very corporate type of an artist, signed a big multi-million-dollar deal, right? Couple $100 million deal, right? So I'm sure he's in the lab because he's kind of stuck with having to work that deal out with his popularity being so low as it is right now. But if you weren't paying attention, you would have got real offended by Sam Jackson being a black Uncle Sam. If you were white, you were like, this isn't cultural appropriation. If you were black and you didn't know any better, you would say Sam Jackson sold out. But what I'd like for you to think about is this right here. And I'll make it bigger. And we can talk about some of these, how this is all symbolized, right? So shout out to Sister Mary Rains. If you don't see and hear all the messages Kendrick just sent to America, here's some of them. Sam Jackson playing Uncle Sam, a.k.a. the house ninja, like he played in Django. Number 2, Sam Jackson warning Kendrick in the beginning to play the game, while America wants us to play and not be ghetto. Interesting. So what game? See, Kendrick Lamar's performance had a big theme to it. Then there was some influences by the Squid Games based on what his dancers were wearing. So the Squid Games stage symbolizes the rich killing the poor. So if you didn't watch the Squid Games, it was a contest of the poor to earn money, doing some really dangerous things. So, but it's a lot better than that. Go check it out. Number 4, the dancers in red, white, and blue made, I guess I'm going to go a little further with this. They made like contortionist imaging that symbolized an American flag. That said the stage also being a prison yard where his black performers harmonized while he rapped. Now, I don't know if that was a prison or a street corner. That was something that was very, very interesting. But he had a lot of elements of black life in there, representing a lot of truth of that a lot of people didn't want to see about the way that Black America purports itself in desperate times. Also, the stage, okay, this is number 6, protecting Black women like Serena Williams after the disrespect from Drake. That was in the verse. And then, not like us, right? And then 7, once again, reminding Drake and America, y'all not like us. Very interesting. Now, I could go deeper with it, but I thought that those particular elements, those particular thematic elements were very, very pervasive, in your face, and acted out well. And for only having one feature or 2 features throughout the performance, I thought it was great. And he was rapping all through it. So it wasn't like it was like a break for him where somebody else did an entire performance and he got to chill and catch a breath and wipe his face and regroup. He was involved in every aspect of that. It was almost like, I'm just going to wear this out until I can't wear it out no more. So I thought that was interesting. And y'all tell us what y'all think, man. What do y'all think of Sam Jackson's portrayal of Uncle Sam? Do you think the message hit home? Do you think it was done masterfully, or was it done in a sloppy way? Because you have a lot of these Netflix shows and streaming movies and whatnot, and they throw you these like themes and these like idioms within the middle of shows, and it's done real overtly and in your face and real sloppy. Do you think that it was done this way during the Super Bowl halftime show? Or do you think this was a stroke of genius? Do you think Kendrick reached an apex of what he needed to do to get his message across of not only unity, not only of respecting and valuing the struggle of our folks, but also how there's a game within a game, right? Kendrick was the game within the game, right? So that means you have to go a rung deeper than what's presented to you, right? And then by the time Kendrick was done going, understanding, and performing the game within a game, it was game over because he was able to be the MVP of the hip hop world last year. And at the time, nobody was bigger than Drake. And he kind of took Drake down in popularity after winning that rap battle, that hip hop back and forth, as it were. And that's true hip hop. Like, as a former MC, that's what you want, man. That's how you want to do it. And Drake don't have nothing to feel bad about. He just didn't come equipped, and he didn't win. He didn't win that battle. It didn't work out for him the way he thought it would work out for him. And he stepped into the mud waist high and realized he couldn't swim. And it just, quicksand, it just gobbled him up. Don't write no tickets your ass can't cash. You know what I mean? Don't write wolf tickets that your ass can't cash. Yeah, man. So y'all let us know at home what you think about this. Timestamp the show. Timestamp what's going on currently, and let us know what you think about this whole piece. Because we're going to get ready to sign off right now. I had another whole topic I was going to go into, but I'll save that for Wednesday. It was about Ogun energy and how that's presented throughout the diaspora. And I thought it was very much in line with the Kendrick piece. But that was only if we had like a real live, panel or, comment group. That's cool. It's a Monday night, Super Bowl hangover. I get it. But y'all tap in Wednesday. And we going to bring you more melanin wonders of the world. How are we going to do that? Because we're going to talk about that Ogun spirit. The Ogun spirit, the fighting spirit, is in fact one of the melanated wonders of the world. So we're going to talk about how all of that is built into the spirit of Carnival. You know what I mean? The fighting spirit. And how no matter where we are, what we're doing, and how we do it, our melanated folks have a fighting, independent spirit. So I'm going to say peace. Y'all walk with power. Make sure you check out some of our sponsors like Bats Footwear, Revolutionary Footwear, Revolutionary Soul Technology for healthy joints and knees. Check them out. NOLA made nationwide. Check them out. Bats Footwear coming to a store near you. Ice Spice is already checking for those. Y'all should too. Make sure y'all check out the Overcoming Discussion Book Club this Saturday. Y'all stay tuned this Sunday for another episode of In the Bonus Hoop Show and many, many other shows on the Real HD Show because our history is live 365. That's how we like to do it on the Real HD Show TV network. And as we sign off, I'm going to say peace and y'all walk with power. Y'all make sure we doing a fundraiser for Sister Aurora. So y'all make sure y'all Cash App $, the Real HD Show, $, the Real HD Show. We're raising money for her all this month so that she could be healthy, wealthier, and wiser with her family after suffering a tremendous setback. Go watch last week's show to find out what that exactly was. We don't want to repeat it tonight. We just want to concentrate on her moving on and being strong. And y'all make sure that y'all like, share, subscribe, and turn on all, share it. Share the show and turn on all your notifications so that every time that we have a Real HD show, y'all can tap in, get it in, and y'all can move with power. Peace. Y'all love on each other. BHM is live 365 here on the Real HD show. Peace. One love.